Welcome to my quick guide about the housing editor in Elder Scrolls Online. I'm Miss Bizz, and I've been hanging out on the forums a lot. I always do, and I've noticed there's a couple things that people don't understand how to do, or problems they don't know how to fix, so I'm just going to cover the general housing editor how-to, and then I'll go over a couple of issues people seem to have, and how to fix those problems. So like I mentioned, the very first thing I'm going to cover is a simple how to use the housing editor. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner of my screen, F12 is how I open the housing editor. If you are on PC, it defaults to F5, but if you already had F5 bound to something, it's going to say not bound. You're going to have to go into your key binding settings and actually bind a key to the housing editor. That's what I had to do, so I picked F12. Now, once we open up the housing editor, we'll see at the bottom, once again, it tells us how to do everything. We can select items, we can browse, or we can go to entrance. Well, you're not probably going to have anything to select, so head on over to browse. Here you'll see everything is split up nicely into different categories. So here under gallery, I actually have a trophy. As you can see, there's a limit on trophy collectibles. This is different depending on the size of your house. I can also place mounts and non-combat pets. This also uses up a collectible spot in your house that is limited, so be careful when you're picking who to put where. For things like your bus from your dungeons, you're able to put this in more than one house. Same with your mounts. I could put my clouded cinch leopard in multiple homes if I wanted to. And yes, after I place them in my home, I'm still able to use them. So what else do we have? Well, now that we're in the housing editor, we selected browse, we see that the very first tab is our placing tab. That's how we put stuff down. Next up, we have the purchase tab. You'll notice that there's not a whole bunch of stuff in the crown store for housing. That's because there is so much stuff that they gave it its own section in the housing editor. That way it doesn't clutter up the crown store. So anything you buy in here will actually be purchased with crowns, not with in-game gold. The next tab we have is retrieve. So everything you place in your house, you will be able to retrieve. And I'm going to be showing you when you're going to want to use this a little bit later on. Last but not least, we have settings. Here is where you're going to pick who can actually visit your house and who is blacklisted from your house. So if somebody keeps turning off all your lights, blacklist them. Now they can't do it anymore. Alright, so we're heading back to the very first tab, place. I'm going to check out this bust. I just left clicked it and I can see it, I can spin it, check it out. I'm going to hit E and press place. So now that we have an item, there's a couple different options here. There's left click, which is place, and I can literally place it anywhere. There's R, which puts it back into my inventory. There is cursor mode. What this does is allows you to spin using your cursor. So this will let you do a little bit finer detail. You'll have to press F again to get out of cursor mode. Then we have a surface drag. This way, it's always going to drag against the nearest surface. You can turn that on or off. I'm going to leave it, we'll leave her on. Alright, next up we have right click, which is align. This will align the bottom of whatever you're placing to the nearest surface. So if I put it against a wall, it's going to align the bottom of the bust to the wall. So I'll align it to the floor, a nice flat surface. I have surface drag on, and I can set it on my table. You'll notice you are actually allowed to clip items and everything, so you can set stuff wherever you want. You also notice that if I take surface drag off, I open up a couple new options. Using my mouse scroll wheel, I can push or pull. This makes it, closer or farther. But like I said, I like having surface drag. It makes it a little easier to set on tables. That is pretty much all you need to know about using the housing editor. Once you place things, you can just go around while you're in the housing editor, click them and move them. So now I'm going to go over a couple different problems you might find yourself having. I'm going to grab this Khajiit stool I have, and I'm going to place it right up against this table, right here. You'll notice when I go to place it, it glows yellow. If I hop out of the editor, you'll notice I can't use that stool even though it is considered sittable. Well, that had to do with that yellow glow. If it is green when I place it, that means I'll actually be able to use the stool and sit on it. And this goes for anything that you can really interact with. If it goes yellow, you won't be able to use it. This includes crafting stations, for example. You need it to glow green when you place it, and that way you know you'll be able to use it. Another problem you might have, and I've heard lots of people have this problem with paintings, but, well, I only have one painting, so I haven't run into that issue with paintings yet. But some items, even with surface drag on, so you would think they're always up against the surface, when you inspect them a little bit closer, you'll notice they are floating from the wall. Well, this is where turning off surface drag and using that push-pull feature is really nice. You'll notice I was able to push, I pushed it a little too far, so I pulled it out, and now the lantern is actually up against the wall. This is really nice. Some lighting things, here we'll shove this in the wall pretty good. Some lighting items, when they are put into the wall, for example this lantern, I can't actually turn it on or off. So if you cannot turn your lights on and off, the problem might be that it's clipping into the wall. You'll also notice when I go to grab this light, I can't. Here I will grab my VMA bust and move it. Now, no matter what I do, I cannot pick up this light. It's because that light is clipping into the wall. So not only can I not turn the light on and off, I actually can't even grab it with my mouse. Here's where you want to press R for browse and head to the retrieve tab. So I will go to lighting and try to find my wedding lantern here, and it actually shows me how far this specific wedding lantern is and in what direction. This is really handy because I have them all over my house. So I'm just going to click wedding lantern, I'm going to click E for modify, and there we go. I have my wedding lantern back out of the wall. And my bust is going to be crooked, as is my lantern, but I will fix that later. This is something you might notice with paintings, the whole problem where it floats against the wall. That is how you fix it. You're going to have to pull it in, and you might not be able to actually pick it up afterwards, but it's okay. It's safe there. You can always just use your retrieve tab to do it. Another thing that gets asked about, and it's kind of terrible, but it gets asked about a lot on the forums, is people are looking for this specific fireplace, the one where you can actually ignite it and, you know, extinguish it. See? Ooh, pretty. Is only available via the Crown Store by itself. Some of the homes, even bought with gold, not furnished, will come with this fire log. And fantastic, then you can move it to a different home if you want, but you cannot craft this item, and yeah, it's only available in the Crown Store. Otherwise, you know, buying an entire house with gold, some of them come with it. That's a question that comes up a lot, so I thought I would mention that. Well, that was my quick guide to the Elder Scrolls Online Housing Editor. Do you have a problem that you can't appear to fix, or maybe you have a tip or trick for this housing editor? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.